Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us for week two, part two of the series. We're here with Shaun Sproul, the loan doctor, helping us out, getting this event together. Thank you so much. And of
Glad
course,
to be here.
I know it's been busy. I know Monday's always crazy. I know Mondays, everybody's scared to do stuff on Mondays, but I'm like, forget it. Mastermind Mondays, right? Start the
Love
week
it.
off.
Time
You
to
know,
grow.
we used to love Fridays, but now we love Mondays, where we make that money, right? So,
TGIM.
yeah. So JB, I definitely want to, cast off to you, and hopefully you can recap us of what we did last week, and then take off from there, and then me and Shaun will come back and recap as we
Whoever
did
missed
last week.
last week missed some gems.
Yes,
some
definitely
gold
did.
that JB dropped for us, and we're so happy to have him part of what we're doing here. And I know he's going to do another awesome message today, but
Yes.
definitely JB, go over what they missed, because they definitely missed some stuff.
Sounds good. Absolutely. I'm happy to do it.
All right, guys. So let's leave JB on, and JB, it's all you.
All right. Thank you, Gary. Gary, I love the Metallica shirt, by the way. Feeling it.
Always.
So, guys, actually coming to you live from the vehicle because I didn't want to add any more time to it. I figured let's get the show on road, not delayed for you. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is JB Bolvadin. I'm the founder and CEO of Total Success Solutions. I'm the #1 real estate sales and performance coach on Long Island, and actually have the largest sales training company in New York. Every single day, I work with real estate agents, brokerages, and companies and entrepreneurs in that field and helping them increase their performance. And something really, really, really interesting happened. The coronavirus, this pandemic really, really changed a lot of things for a lot of people overnight. Literally, everyone went from 10, 15, whatever years in the business to new, because they don't have experience in things that are going on. What I've been able to do is compile some great techniques that's helped a lot of companies and people make money and actually grow and scale. And that's my hope for you. And that's why I've been brought onto the show, is to talk to you exactly what you need to do on a regular basis to scale your business, not so you can survive during this coronavirus economy, but thrive. It's very important to understand a few things when you're actually working on growing your business. Number one thing is, don't believe what you see on the news. All right. So before I recap what's happening, I just want to give you a little piece of advice. If you're watching the news, you're going to lose. The media literally has a saying: if it bleeds, it leads, which means that bad news is good for us. Because when things are bad, you stay glued to your TV. And when things are good, you move on with your life. If you open up CNN today and it said, everything is good, everyone's happy, the world is at peace, and everyone's healthy, you would then turn off the news and go outside and live your life and think for yourself. When the news says people are dying, people are sick, everything's falling apart, you get scared and uncertain. And what do you do in exchange of that? Watch more news. The media are merchants of chaos. So unless you want to be unhappy or depressed, continue to watch it. But if you want to understand the way the real world works, you have to not just think about the general economy, think about your personal economy, your personal well-being, and how you're going to actually build out your business. As a real estate professional, it's important to realize that you are not in the real estate business. You are in the people business. You need to understand the way people think. So let's get a few things out of the way right now. When it comes to people not buying real estate right now, people being afraid of buying real estate, it's important to realize that when it comes to residential real estate, 99% of all buyers and sellers do not buy or sell because of economics. They buy or sell because of a personal life event, not a national or global event. What do I mean by that? Someone's getting married, they want to buy a house. They have a kid, kid's about to be born, they need a bigger place now, they buy a house. Someone's retiring, they sell their house. Their kids grow up and buy their own houses. Now they want to downsize. People get divorced, people pass away. These are all life events that trigger it, not economic events, not national events. No one has stopped making babies. In fact, because everyone's been at home, you're going to see a big boost in baby making. In fact, I paid a lot more buyer activity because a lot of families are about to get larger. The baby boom is going to be larger than it was in World War II. Now, why am I telling you all of these things? If you're waiting for Governor Cuomo to tell you when it's okay for you to be a real estate agent again, you might as well also call a bankruptcy attorney and talk about your options. Waiting is not the way to do this. It's actually understanding how to do this safely and efficiently in the right way. So, first things first, coronavirus doesn't cause real estate to stop moving. People getting scared causes real estate to stop moving. Also, you couldn't sell all the real estate on Long Island or in the city if your life depended on it. If you were only to get 1% of the entire market share, that would make you a very wealthy person. So what I mean by that is, even if you start seeing general stats start to shrink, oh, less people are buying or less people want to sell right now, those stats are actually kind of loaded. And the reason why I say they're loaded is because it doesn't really affect you, because when you really look at it, how many deals do you need to do well? If you need 17 deals to make $250,000, can you still get 17 out of a lower market? The answer is absolutely. You can get significantly more than that. So there's plenty to go around. There's less fish in the sea than there was 100 years ago, yet everyone still loves sushi. There's still fish everywhere. People are still eating it. So don't get confused when you look at media and you see reports on, oh, things are going bad, things aren't going well, unemployment's higher, uncertainty is higher. What you have to really look at is, okay, life events trigger stuff. So let's talk about some life events, how you can actually scale out your business. First things first, we're going to see some people migrate, not some, a decent amount of people migrate from the city to Eastern Long Island. Now you're going to see people in Long Island migrate from Long Island to the south. You'll see people move to Texas. You'll see people move to Georgia. You'll see people move to North Carolina. You'll see people move to Florida. So if you learn, let's just use Texas as an example. In Texas, if someone wants to move to El Paso or someone wants to move to Dallas or they want to move to Austin, what you have to look at is in Austin, find out where the hotspots are, what the average price point is, what jobs are hiring, and what companies have moved to Austin. If you were to put an ad out, about Austin real estate, you'll see that people will inquire about it, which means you can find people who are relocating. 50% of the people that inquire about that in Long Island-based ads will want to actually get information on that property. 50% of them will have a property they need to sell in order to do that. So if you want to get creative, instead of trying to get people to sell their house, what you want to do is start advertising where they would move to, because once someone has a vision of where they want to go to next, they want to let go of what they have now. So that's a great first step of getting people to actually migrate and move. Find out where they're going to migrate to, and then start advertising that, and you'll see you'll start getting more leads on that. Now, how many of those leads will you get? You'll probably get 60 to 100 a day. What percentage are good? 3%. 2 to 3% are going to be good. But it's all about how do you compound this and build it out over time. So you have to be disciplined in your approach and understand there's a new way of doing business. Also, if you're not right now in the process of growing out your business and your brand, if you're not actually right now trying to market yourself, you're going to see that there's going to be issues in that, because everything has moved over to media. So everything has moved out to media. So basically the way it is that if your branding isn't done right, you're going to see that there's going to be actual issues with that, because people are going online for everything they need. In fact, a lot of agents are trying to use their website to generate more leads, but in actuality, they're not getting leads from their websites. What you need to do is this. It's a multiple phase process. So the process works down like this. First, when you have your brand, you have to realize that if you're at a basic level of your brand, people are not going to necessarily find you. They're going to research you after they've met you. So before you try and get all complex with your branding, keep this in mind. When you grow out your brand, the first thing has to be is if someone Googles me, what do they see? So if you're reaching out to people and they were to Google you, can they learn about you, or do they only know what you do? Or do they know you? First, step number one. Once you've accomplished that, the way you're going to do that is have your own bio page, videos about you, not just what you do, but about who you are, so they can know who you are. And then from there, what you're going to be able to do is scale out and have a follow-up process. When you put out ads, people should be able to feel like they know you already, because they don't do business with the best. They do business with the best known. For example, most people, if they're driving down the interstate and they were really hungry and they saw Bob's Burgers or McDonald's, Bob's Burgers could be the best burgers in the world, but they're probably going to go to McDonald's because they're familiar with the brand. They already have an expectation of it. Do people have expectations of your brand, or are you just shooting from the hip and hoping that you can make a good impression on your call? Don't compare yourself to your peers. Compare yourself to the biggest companies in this country that have done a phenomenal job branding themselves. And start to come up with slogans. Start to come up with other things that you have that people can remember you by. For example, by the way, slogans don't have to make sense. Just so you know, you just want to make sure you have something to process for people. You reach out to people, they can understand who you are. So here's what I mean by that. Geico. What's Geico's slogan? 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. But what do you think about when you think of Geico? A gecko. A little lizard. Now, do you know what Geico stands for? Government Employees Insurance Company. What a terrible brand. Most people that have Geico aren't even government employees. So if they had to rock that brand, it would have been a branding disaster. So they created a gecko. They created something else with it to make it more appealing. You can do the same thing in your business. You can have your own brand as a real estate agent that attracts people, that makes it magnetic, pulls them in. And when you do that, you start to see that people start to know you over time. Now, when you first start posting your stuff, you're going to get 4 likes, and you're going to think no one cares and nobody knows. Quantity is quality. The frequency you do it and the amount of times you do it is what creates the brand. No brand was made overnight. So you want to make sure that as you're branding yourself and you're building it out, that's what you're doing. Now, why am I telling you this? Because most of your clients are going to meet virtually now. You're not going to meet them in person as much. When this is all said and done, people, when it's time to go back to normal, will still prefer to meet electronically or virtually for the time being, for quite some time, versus in person, which means that your digital presence and your media presence and your ability to deliver a message over media is going to be significantly more looked at and more important than ever before. Just like when the IRS said, we're not going to give tax returns via check anymore, we're going to do it direct deposit. Everyone got upset about that. Nobody liked that. Now, everyone wants direct deposit. Nobody wants a paper check in general. But when direct deposit first came out, people weren't a big fan. You also see other situations. Like, for example, you see email. Email didn't usually take off the way, people expected to initially. Now, email is preferred over regular mail. In fact, there's services that actually open your mail for you and then make it electronic for you to view your mail electronically. There's a saying, if the post office wanted to really stay in business, they would open the mail, read the letter, and email it to you. So who knows, that might be the future of the post office as well. So I'm telling you all these things because what's a compromise today or something that we used to get around starts to become a culture tomorrow. The culture of handshakes, the culture of meeting in person for the short term, for the next 12 to 18 months, maybe 24 months, will not look the same. So have you adapted to that culture? Is there a way that people can know who you are by just Googling your name? Do you have media presence with them in general? Do you have video follow-ups? Are you sending videos to your clients on a regular basis? Or are you still texting them? Have you been working with a lead for the last 2 weeks and they still don't even know what you look like? Have you not sent them a video, a selfie of you talking and explaining something to them? If you're not doing that, you're really, really losing a lot, because if you're doing everything by text, the average person reads about 1 book a year, but the average person views over 750 videos a year. That's just something you really want to keep in mind as you go through this process. How much video content are you using? Okay, so I want to get that information out to you, but I wanted to actually talk to you a little bit more about how to actually generate more leads, how to actually get more things going and rolling. So you can get 2 types of clients right now if you're in the residential sphere, aside from investors, which is either a buyer or a seller. In order to collect leads, you want to collect motivation. You need to figure out what actually moves this person to do a deal. What actually moves this person to want to buy or to sell. So if a seller were to sell right now, they would be selling because of a life event, not an economic event, most likely. Now, when you call a seller a FSBO or an expired right now, what are you getting? You're not getting a lot of interest in them because they're telling you that they want to wait until this virus is over. They think they can get more money if they wait until X date or X timing. Sorry for the background. If you guys don't know, this is my office. I'm over here. So if you're in Melville, stop by, check us out. I don't even want to say we're open if we're allowed to say that. So what you're going to talk about here with the seller is this. When you reach out to a seller, you want to solve a problem. No one's ever survived through a pandemic before. I don't want to say survived, lived through a pandemic. No one's ever actually done that before. They're actually trying to figure out what to do during a global pandemic. So the way you got to think about it is when you reach out to people, what's the problem you're going to solve when you reach out to them? What are you actually going to do? Hope I don't lose you guys. If I do, I'll be right back with you in a second. So if you don't want to lose these guys, if you don't want to gain attention, if you want to solve a problem for them, this is how this works. When you make a cold call, what you need to do is, first of all, don't make a cold call that's just a generic telemarketing sales call. Because right now there's a hold on that until September 7th. And it may get extended, you never know. But you can conduct research. So here's what I mean by that. When you are reaching out to people, here we go, the eagle has landed. Distractions are done out of the car, undivided attention. So when you guys are reaching out to people, what you need to figure out is how you're going to solve a problem. The way you can solve a problem is conduct a survey or a study. So instead of doing a telemarketing sales call, calling a FSBO or expired, here's the process you need to do to actually collect more leads. First things first is conduct a study. What do I mean by that? You should call FSBOs, expireds, withdrawns, and instead of trying to list their house, which would be a telemarketing sale, you can conduct research. Reach out to them and say, hey, I'm conducting a study to see how the coronavirus has impacted real estate in Queens, in Brooklyn, in Long Island, wherever you're calling. Would you mind answering a few questions to help us with this study? It'd be very helpful for the local community. Then you ask them questions which are what's called probing questions. Probing questions mean this. Everyone has something called a button. Now here's the way a button works. A button is you have new information that now that you have that information, you can actually work with it and earn with it and actually take action on it. Like for example, when someone takes a study or someone goes and like participates in a survey, a company takes that information and changes their business based off of that. So for example, when you look at like Best Buy, you go somewhere, like maybe you go to Target, wherever it is, they may circle a receipt and say, hey, if you take the survey, you get 20% off your next product or like your next purchase here. That's how valuable it is that they're willing to pay you for that information, because as you give them that information, those companies find what's called buttons. And what buttons are is they find out what are motivators for a customer to make a purchase, to not make a purchase, to want to participate in something or not participate in something. And here's how that works. When you conduct surveys, that's how you actually get marketing done. That's why businesses grow so fast, because they actually know what their base wants. So when you start making these calls, what you're doing is you're doing something called a survey call. Now, in a survey call, you're asking a few questions like, had there not been a coronavirus pandemic, is it safe to assume you'd still be selling your property? Let's say something like an expired. At that point, they're going to tell you yes or no. Majority are saying yes. Just so you know, this is not theory. This is something that we've been doing for a while now. Something that a lot of my coaching clients have been doing. They are getting listings. They are converting, and it is going well because it's a different approach. Another one would be, in 6 months, do you believe your home's going to be worth the same or less money? Because you want to see, well, where's their head at? If they think their house is going to be worth a lot more a year from now, then they probably won't sell. But if they believe it's going to be worth less, then it's a good opportunity for you to actually propose a value proposition of why a house can sell now versus later. But again, at this point, you're only collecting information. You're not distributing information. So next step is we want to find out some other things too. Like, for example, have you been furloughed or lost employment or become unemployed because of the coronavirus? If yes, does that increase or decrease your desire to sell your house? These are all things called buttons. Once you find out what a button is, you know how to actually transact with someone, how to communicate with someone, if it's even worth it, because you know what the situation is. As you compile all this data, the next thing you do at the end of it is say, thank you so much for participating in this study. It was very, very helpful. I'd like to circle back with you next week when the study's complete and let you know what the results are. Is it okay if I call you back at this time? Most people that take time to spend a couple of minutes with someone on a survey will want to know the results, while others won't care. And they'll say, please don't call me back after this. It's fine. Either way, it's good. But what you want to do is just make sure you're letting them know that there's a phase 2. Now, when you reach back out to them, you want to give them the stats, because you've been surveying other people. I let them know like 70% of people would be selling their house right now if it wasn't for coronavirus. 85% of people believe that their house will be worth less than 6 months. As you go through this process, you can get like 28% of people are furloughed or unemployed right now because of coronavirus. 90% increase their desire to sell their house. So as you start putting these questions together, you actually give them the results of that. At the end, you have good news and bad news for them, which is the good news is selling a house has never been easier because people are used to doing it virtually, which means that more people can look at the property and more people are willing to make an offer and make a decision based off of that. Bad news is in about 6 months, we might see a dip in pricing potentially. And the reason why is because real estate's 3 months behind. All the sales that we saw during the coronavirus pandemic were from homes that went under contract in February or January. So maybe even December. So we won't really know what the real estate sales were until we see August numbers when it comes to the coronavirus pandemic. What that means for homeowners is when those new reports come out, we might see things actually drop a lot. So with that being said, at this point, you can now close the homeowner on a listing appointment, which should be done virtually with you. Now, a virtual listing appointment should happen over like a Zoom call. And the way that should work is that you have a pre-planned presentation that should not exceed 6 or 7 pages. A majority of the presentation should be you talking to them, going over the process of how easy it is to sell now, showing your value propositions, what tools are you using differently than everyone else, what marketing styles are you using differently than everyone else, what is your conversion rate on that, why should they trust you, and then actually getting them to agree to list their house with you over that meeting. Now, just a little tip of advice. At this point, you should have all of your documents either through .loop or DocuSign or another e-sign company where you don't have to worry about physical signatures anymore and everything can be done on the internet online the right way. That's the way you should really be thinking about it. If you have everything that still requires a wet signature, that's a problem. You don't want to do that. You want to have stuff that's very, very easy for your clients to just click and sign. Now, let's say, the question that I always get is, JB, okay, I'm doing this virtual listing presentation. Things are going all right, but they're older. They're not technically savvy. How do I actually get them to do this e-sign if it's a problem? Well, great question. Here's what you do. In New York, verbal agreements are legal. When someone verbally agrees to do something, it's legal. The reason why it's very difficult to enforce a verbal agreement is because you have to prove it, right? So if you lend someone $1,000 and they said they were going to pay you back and they didn't, but when you sued them, if you went to the judge and said, Judge, they said that they were going to pay me back, and that person says, yes, I did say that, that's legally enforceable then. So verbal agreements are legally enforceable, but the problem is they're very difficult to prove because the person that you're saying said that has to agree that they said it. So where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is this. If someone says, oh, I don't know how to sign, what you can do is pull up the actual listing agreement on your virtual presentation, share your screen with them, let them know you're going to be recording this, record the meeting, have them acknowledge who they are, their name, review everything with them on the shared screen so it's on the recording, go over everything with them, and then have them agree. And state their name. I, John Smith, agree to list my house with, from this person, from this realty, and I agree to do it for this amount of terms, and I agree to do it for this price, and I agree until it's listed until this timing, like it expires on this date. And if they're agreeing to that and it's recorded and you actually have the document on your shared screen, that is legally enforceable. And then when it comes down to you going to their property and actually getting all the pictures taken care of, you go with the photographer that day and you go and you have it signed. Now, I want you to understand that you need to start thinking with your resourcefulness, not your resources. Just because you haven't done this before doesn't mean you can't do it, and you better learn now. If you don't open your eyes, someone's going to open them for you, and you don't want to go through that. You want to be able to do that the right way. You want to be able to actually be proactive in what you do, not reactive. So everything you have should be digital. Every single thing that you need a signature for should have an e-sign capability to it. Step 1. Step 2, the next thing you need to do is make sure that everything you do is documented the right way, and everything you do is digital from your communications even with people. If you're showing houses virtually right now, that's phenomenal. Whether you're doing it through FaceTime, whether you're pre-recording it, sending it out. If you're actually, when you're meeting with clients, you should be doing what I'm doing. Right now, I'm actually talking to you through my phone, not through my computer. So if I'm actually holding this right now, this is what I would do with a client. Let's say the client's name is Adam. Hey, Adam, this is JB Bolvadin, ABC Realty. I just want to put a face to the name and let you know I'm really excited to work with you. And I'm going to bring you all these properties virtually for you to see. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions. I'll be following up with you today. Take care. Something simple like that would go a long way for you because you become human. They connect with you. But if your face is not in front of the camera, you're not going to be able to do that, and you're going to retain less clients. Do this now. Now that it's fresh. Look, the people that opened up Facebook first, the people that were really engaging on Facebook first before Facebook blew up, have a massive following. People who did that with Instagram have a massive following. The ones who are doing it now can still get a massive following, but it takes a lot more energy and time. That's one of my biggest regrets. I wish I jumped on Instagram the day it came out and was very active on it from from day one. The following would be like 10 times what it is today. Same thing goes for you guys. So you can either jump on board right now and do it while it's new and develop a massive client base, or you can follow everyone and do your best to try and keep up from there. But what you want to do is keep in mind, if you don't do it, you're going to be forced to do it anyway, and you're just going to suck at it. So do it now where you can actually make your mistakes and get an actual branding, following, have a right communication flow, because that is vital, absolutely vital to your business. So next step is now you've done your calls, you've done your follow-ups, you've virtually listed the property. How do you virtually sell it? Well, there's a few tools you can use. There's a few things I'm going to recommend. One is a premium you have to pay for. The other ones you can actually improvise and set up the right way. So if you use AdWorks or other sources where you can actually get your ads pushed out to multiple streams, this can help you significantly. You can actually advertise a virtual open house. Now, a virtual open house can be done with you walking through the property live and people asking questions and streaming in. You'll tend to see that the virtual open houses have about 3 to 5 times the attendance rate that a physical open house would have, for the simple reason of it's there, it's easy, it's available. Once you advertise that and have people sign up, you also have a lead capture sheet. Those are all potential buyers that you can reach out to and call. Every listing you have should actually amount to 2 more, 3 more deals. When you've actually sent that out, now you actually host your virtual open house like this. I mean, you actually walk through the property like I'm walking through. I'll give you a tour. How about this? I'll give you a virtual open house of my office right now. So welcome to Tilbury Success Solutions, the leading real estate sales and performance training company. I like to show you around, show you what we do here. So because of the quarantine, it's still kind of like a little bit, it's still a little bit empty because we're adhering to New York State. So we keep a limited amount of people here, but just so you can see what goes down here. So first thing you're going to see here is this is our waiting room. When people come in, they wait in here. If you're into training, when you get training, you're going to be in here. And this room, we can seat 40 people comfortably, have whiteboard. Digital training classes take place there as well. Our salespeople, media team is normally here. This is our break room, but we only take breaks when we close deals because coffee's for closers, if you can see that down over there. Now, if you were actually here together, we'd be walking through it, but the good news is you can ask me as many questions as you'd like, and I can show you around. This is my favorite room here, studio. There he is. Talking about slogans, that's my man, the handsome home buyer. Long Island's #1 real estate fix and flip investor. What's going on, guys? So, as you give a tour, you can actually just show people, walk around and talk to them, and you can actually explain. Like, so for example, I was at a property yesterday, and I was helping someone do an actual virtual open house for the first time, and I showed them how to tell a story. So it had like stone driveway, but it was stamped stone on concrete. So what did I tell them? I said, look, this is the way you need to do it. Explain that this. So I love the stone driveway. Here's what I love about it the most. Since it's not real stone and it's stamped with concrete, not only will it last longer, but it's a lot easier to maintain, which is a really, really great way to have your property built out because it needs to be beautiful, but also needs to be practical. That's the way people do things now. Then you walk in and you say, look, this has a first floor master, which generally speaking in the past was not as popular, but it's become the new fad and the new phase that people want to build houses. So this is considered a modern piece to a property now compared to the way it used to be. So you don't want to just show it to them. You want to tell a story. You want to walk around with them. You want to build rapport with them. You want to do a lot of things like that because these things help. Build rapport, stay virtual, lead generate, and when you do this, you're able to accomplish a lot more, a lot faster. The most important piece to building out your business is understanding that there's a brand aspect to it, there's a research aspect to it, there's a follow-up component to it, and all of these things come together to create something that you can actually connect with people. If you're looking for secret sauce, sauce only tastes good on meals. So if you can't cook, if you just got sauce, if you don't got anything to put it on, it's not going to taste good. I don't know. Maybe there's some weird people on this live stream right now that like to straight up drink hot sauce or drink sauce. I'm not that guy. I like to put sauce on food. So if you're looking for secret sauce, but you can't cook, it doesn't matter. If it's burnt, you can't put sauce on it. It's burnt. So you have to be good at cooking first before you get good at sauce. Get the fundamentals going and understand how this works, because when you do that, you start to build out much better business. Don't get complicated and caught up in the perfection. They say like, oh, I'm a perfectionist. If you're a perfectionist, you're weak, because you're more conscious of getting something perfect than getting it out there to people. Like when you really look at it, every time there's been an emergency, if we had to wait till everything was perfect, a lot of people would die. Perfection is something that doesn't really work. It's not practical. It's an excuse. It's a professional excuse. What you want to do is make sure that you're practical and put into action right away. So let's see. You're going to make a video to advertise, but you want to make sure it's perfect. Well, while you're making sure it's perfect, the not video you're putting out, the 0 videos you're putting out, is that making you money? No. So wouldn't an okay video or a mediocre video be significantly more powerful than no video? Yeah, I would think so. So if you're trying to get perfect, what you're actually doing is you're setting yourself up to fail, because you want to be able to get it out there first. That's the most important piece. Now, I know I went through a bunch of different subjects, but I basically have about 30 to 40 minutes to show you how to actually work out through this Corona thing and what things you need to put in place. If you want more information on it and more stuff on a real estate mentor group we do, all you have to do is reach out. It was actually streaming below before. You can actually text me directly and give you information on a real estate mentor group, 631-903-3000. But what I want to do is I'm just trying to give you working is this. The biggest millionaires and billionaires are going to be created from this event. Millennials, if you're a millennial out there, 1982 to the year 2000, that will be the wealthiest generation in American history. Everyone else, if you're not a millennial, don't worry. You can still become extremely wealthy during this time. Bad times is what creates people that do a lot. This is a brand new economy and a brand new way of thinking. So people that may not be feeling like they had much value in the marketplace before may become very valuable. For example, if you're someone that likes to be behind a keyboard and a screen all day and are very good at that type of stuff, if you grew up in the 70s or 80s, you would not have been nearly as successful, because that was an in-person environment. You couldn't message someone, you couldn't create content, you had to get in front of people face to face. But now, you could actually be pretty bad interpersonally and still make a good living for yourself and have a lot of opportunity, because a lot of stuff we do is virtual. If you're only so what I'm saying is that now what we're seeing is a different development. Now we're starting to see people that, like, if you're really good at one way of doing business, you have to get better at the next phase of doing business, which is getting creative. Don't do what everyone else is doing. Don't be better than people. Be different than them. The iPhone buried BlackBerry. BlackBerry was the number one smartphone. If you didn't have a BlackBerry, you didn't have a smartphone. Everyone that tried to compete with BlackBerry, like Samsung, Nokia, they made all these phones with keyboards that looked similar to BlackBerry. And what happened? BlackBerry dominated them. Then Apple showed up, and they made a phone without a keyboard, without any buttons on it, really, except for the sides for the power and the volume. There wasn't an interchangeable battery. There wasn't expandable memory. It was so different than a BlackBerry. It had nothing in common with it. And let's just see how many people on this live stream are using BlackBerries versus iPhones. This is really your opportunity. By the way, when the iPhone came out, it was around 2007, 2008, during the worst economy, where someone had to spend $600 for a phone at the time and add money onto their monthly bill, about 30 to 40 bucks more per month. And it was the best selling thing ever. So this is your moment. This is your time. This is really where you can stand out and do something bigger and better than ever. And the way you're going to do that is by expanding to a new horizon and actually understanding that now is your time to lead generate, to roll out, to grow big. Because when you do that, big things happen. Reach out to people, do your survey study calls, do your follow-ups, make sure your branding is built out the right way. Stop being afraid. If you're afraid, you're being selfish because you're thinking about you. You're not thinking about what you can do. You're not thinking about everything else that you should be doing. You're thinking about how you feel in a situation. If you're afraid right now to reach out to people, I don't know what else you need, right? So, but you need someone to be real with you, and I want to be real with you, which is you can't get far being afraid. You need to start being afraid of the right things at least. Be afraid that people don't know you exist. Be afraid that had they known that you existed, they would have done the deal with you instead of someone else. That's what you need to think about. You can't be thinking about, oh, what am I doing? Am I doing it the right way? What are they going to think? I'm not ready yet. I'm not sure. I don't know what to do. What if they criticize me? Who cares? Criticism is success's best friend. Look, if you can get half the country to hate you, that means that you can become president of the United States. Think of every president, half the country doesn't like them. You need to be able to do something where you're getting criticized. Guys, if you're not getting criticized, you know what the problem is? You're not doing big enough action. I was actually talking to a friend of mine. I'm about to do phase 2 on the build out in my company. And he said that he doesn't want other people to rip us off. Because when we do what we're about to do, a lot of people are going to rip us off. I said, dude, the only way that I can't get ripped off, the only way that I won't get screwed is if I stay really small. That's it. But if I get big, that's the most important thing. You know, Bill Gates, when people started to bootleg Microsoft programs, Bill Gates got briefed on it that, oh, we're getting bootlegged on Microsoft. And he said, hey, if they're going to steal anything, let them steal Microsoft. What he's basically saying is, I'm not afraid of that. I'd rather be number one and have people rip me off than me be so small that no one rips me off. So guys, go out there, get criticized, scrape your knees, scrape your elbows. That's how you learn how to walk. Do the survey calls. Do the things that attract buyers. Find out, like, for example, people are moving to Texas, they're moving to Georgia. Get a lot of data on the areas that they're moving to. Get a good contact out there so you can earn a referral fee. And half of those people that decide to move down there will have a house to sell that they'll list with you. Who else do you know that's doing that? But when you hear it, it's obvious. People can't have weddings right now because of the coronavirus, right? So start putting out a new trend. In fact, corporate America created every holiday out there. Instead of celebrating your marriage with a wedding, celebrate your marriage with a new property and do a housewarming party. At least this way, you don't invest all your money on a 5-hour party. You invest all your money on the rest of your life in a place that you can build out a family with and have many memories. You tell me what's a better investment. So you could talk to newlyweds and say, dude, instead of spending 60 grand on your wedding, let's put some money down and get you a house. Look, the wedding's going to be 5 hours. This is going to be the rest of your life. Which one do you think is a better deal? You can't write off your wedding. You can write off parts of your house. So these are things that you have to start thinking about when you talk to people and get creative, because these are things that people already know. They're just not incorporating because they're waiting for there to be a culture. Culture doesn't just happen. It's created. The reason why you don't put your feet up on a table is because mom and dad told you not to do that when you were a kid. So people have to tell you what to think. It's sad that that's that way, but like if you're going to start creating new patterns and trends, you need to start telling the public what to do. Like, this is what you do now when you do real estate. This is how you actually, all right, weddings are played out because of the pandemic thing. Well, that means you should celebrate by getting yourself a house. You can always throw a party later. You know, it doesn't really matter. Like, parties are not a good investment. Real estate is, right? So, oh, you're thinking about moving? That's great. I can help you with that. In fact, these developments are brand new. They meet your criteria. These jobs are available there. I can actually have an agent show you properties down there. They go, wow, really? And by the way, these 12 companies are hiring actively right now in that area, in your field. This is the momentum. This is the amount of appreciation in that area. Oh, wow, I think I'm going to do it. Great. Then you list their house out here. So do it. You know, I don't want to rip off Mountain Dew, but do the do, man. Just get it done. And then finally, what you have to do is make sure you have a good presence online. People know who you are. They can find a video on you. They can get to know you a little bit better. You have a website, and you have some stuff that people can really touch base with. This is the foundation. The secret, if you really talk to anyone who's very successful, their secret is very, very, it's always the same thing. Discipline, hard work, consistency. That's it. That's it. So I'll close in this with you. You're going to need 3 things to guarantee your success. 3 things: time, money, and energy. If you're not putting all 3 into your business, you are going to fail. You want proof that time, money, and energy is so important? Think of anything you love at all. Tell me it doesn't need your time, money, and your energy. And if you were to pull one of those things away from it, doesn't matter which one it is, things would fall apart. Are you investing enough time in your business? Are you investing enough energy in your business? Or investing enough money in your business? If the answer is not 100% yes to all 3, it's a dead dog in the fight. So that's what you need to do. You need to make sure you're doing the right thing. I want to see you healthy. I want to see you successful. I want to see you do well. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jay. Thanks a lot. I got some great nuggets from that one.
What delivery?
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the car and the moving. Well, moving and talking. Moving and shooting today.
Well, that's the live, right? Going live is always I love the lives. Get the trueness, the nature of it, the naturalness, and not just the whole scripted stuff. Like you said, just put it into action, right?
Yeah.
If we wait for it to be perfect, then we'll never do it.
100%.
Absolutely.
I did like the whole open house, go virtual, make sure everybody's going, get to virtual. I think people go half in on the virtual stuff. They do a couple of lives and stuff like that. But after they actually get somebody to say yes, they have no system after that, right? They have no DocuSign. They have no paperwork. Then they go back to the wet sign.
Yeah.
That's not virtual,
Yeah.
So.
And I saw, Gary, you had some great videos on virtual open houses. I think people could learn a lot from on. That was awesome.
Like I said, good and bad. I try, even when audio goes in, audio goes out, but if I don't try it, then, somebody else will, and I'll just be watching somebody else's virtual open houses, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, if I could close a whole loan virtually, you could do a virtual open house.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
So it's definitely taking it to the next step, next level, and trying to just embrace this virtual. Instead of fighting it, just embrace it and see what your specialty is. Listen, I have a beautiful wife, so I put her in front of the camera and I stick behind the camera, so we got to go to our strengths, right?
Yeah.
But I do thank you for everything. What do we expect for part 3?
Part 3, what you're going to learn is actually the new way of actually what your vision should be, what your image should be, how to service deals moving forward. Basically, it's the reinvention of the agent. I'm going to tell you exactly what the new real estate agent looks like moving forward in part 3.
Okay. All right, good.
I want to throw out there that I keep getting all these phone calls from realtors and everybody thinking, oh, FHA is not lending anymore. Oh, you can't do 203K. All of this is a farce. It's a big lie.
Yeah.
It's business as usual, 580 credit score and up. We're closing deals with no problem, whether it's a refinance, a 203K loan, a VA loan, whatever it is. We're doing it business as usual. Nothing has changed. So everybody who's on this on this webinar, you got to understand, all of these banks are tightening up their guidelines and they're putting it out there like the government is the one that made it. No, it's the bank that they work for. So come to a bank like mine where you're not going to miss a beat. You're going to be able to close. Our rates are crazy. I just saw rates at 2. I was blown away when I saw 2.5%.
Come on, man, 2.5%. That's crazy, right?
Crazy time right now. It's actually going down to 2.25. I could screenshot that from anybody and show it to you. If you pay the points, you're getting to 2.25 on an FHA today. I'm beside myself.
That is crazy. There's no reason not to buy.
You're almost, listen, for all your buyers out there, you're almost purchasing property for free. You know where they have these car deals right now? The car deals are 0% financing for 60 months. It's almost like the same thing, 0% financing for 30 years. So this is the best time to get on board with that. And if you guys have any questions or if you want to verify a pre-approval that you got from the lender that's not communicating or whatever the case may be, contact me. It's for free. My number's scrolling down on the bottom. If you don't know me, find me on Facebook, whatever. But contact me. Do not miss out on a deal because the bank that you're working with or the bank your buyer has is saying that they can't lend because we can.
And that's the truth, because just this past Friday, we were on Zooms getting pre-approvals all day, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my VA line them up, we do Zoom.
And we knock them down. Like bowling.
Keep it rolling. You know, you got to be getting them, you know, I send them the documents, send them the buyer's agreements, you know, 4% all day. You know, there's no reason not to be out there.
Good.
You know?
Yeah. Especially doing Corona, you're earning every dollar that you make.
Yeah, definitely. I could get to more people this way. You know, before I had to drive to somebody's house. Now I could get to like 10 people in a day, you know, rather than before I'm sitting in an office getting backed up. And, you know, you're always late to something else, right? So now, it's, you know, a couple of clicks, I'm there. I'm in the next meeting, right?
It's incredible.
No reason for that. So I do think everybody should Google themselves, see what comes up, you know, see what, you know, what's on Facebook, look at it and the buyer's perspective, what they see. I think that's a good point, JB. I think too many people just worried about great content, but getting to know them and not just trying to be so perfect, you know?
What is the name of that company? I think it's called reputationdefender.com.
I think so.
I mean, if they want to clean up, if there's something bad there, I'm not promoting anybody. But
you know who you are.
Yeah.
You know who you are in the audience.
Exactly. And everybody has something crazy, something a little crazy, right? You know, me and Shaun go way back. We've done crazy things. Happy hours are always gone nuts, you know.
I'm hoping those things fade out, those bad pictures.
You know, those video clips, you know.
Those joke moments.
It is what it is, you know, but it's what we're doing today. You know, as long as we're human, we keep it real. I think when you're too perfect, then something is definitely up, right?
Something.
Something definitely up. It's even worse when you're too perfect, right? Too clean, too perfect, you know. But again, thank you guys. We'll catch you again next week. We'll do this again next Friday. Like I said,
next Monday.
I'm sorry, next Monday. It's already.
Wait, you know what?
It's all Monday, same day.
Labor Day?
Monday, Labor Day. I mean they're not working anyway. What's the difference?
Memorial Day. Yeah, it's every day.
I don't know.
Beaches are closed. No beaches.
It's not Monday. It's just day. That's what we just call it now.
Yeah, every day's a Monday. You know? Every day's a Monday. Every day's a Friday and a Monday. There's nothing in between for me. Friday and Monday. That's all we got.
You guys decide if you really want to do it on Memorial Day, though. I think we might. It's up to you guys. You let us know.
Well, we'll let you know. We'll keep it posted. We'll put it up. You know,
just post in comments if you still want us to do it next Monday, regardless of
please.
day. We'll do it. Just post in comments. You tell us, and we'll do it that way.
Yes, that's the way we roll. All right, guys. Thank you. Reach out to any of these guys. Definitely, their numbers are there. The content. Thank you guys again. See you guys next week.
Take care.
Bye, guys.